So we got the Living Flame fight. And look at that health pool. Whew. Right, so you don't actually need anyone's record spheres to be open at all. So it doesn't really line up. That conspiracy theory doesn't really hold. Massive resistance, and that defense ain't too shabby either. So, Living Flame is the first Magicite boss if you proceed clockwise order from 12 o'clock. Here's a quick overview of its stats and abilities. For more detailed look, you can look at the Magicite Dungeons boss guide. We're not going to do that. We're going to focus mainly with increasing the power of our water parties. That's basically what I'm having the stream is for right now anyway. SFBSB1 is, yes, awesome. I mean, I've been trying to talk it up for a while, and now I want everyone to finally see why. It's because it's not an elemental, and he can ignore defense, which means Sephiroth just jumps to the top of charts in some in physical parties when it comes to just annihilating Magicite bosses, because they rely on their high defenses. Their high defenses and our inability to effectively break their stats. So he obviously does not take any fire damage. Ice is neutral, interestingly enough, but he's null in hand form. Really what we're looking for here is this. He is vulnerable to water in all three forms. I have Titus CSB, and I have Yuffie BSB. I don't think that's enough, but I at least anticipate that I may get one more water relic in the next 3 months. Edge's BSB shows up on Extreme Festival, probably, maybe, and maybe that'll show up in a nice place. Yuffie's USB looks nice, but it's not really that suited for Magicite dungeons. Anyway, we'll get to that down below. So, no status vulnerabilities. Break resistance, obviously. Moveset is physical, PHY, BLK. Counter activates in response, BLK. Mad Blaze, BLK. I don't know if these are accurate, because if there's no nat damage here. Well, actually, you're right, but it's not going to be for FBSB. I'm going to be pulling hard on Noctis's banner, so I'll be able to throw in Noctis for any fight instead. I can't fathom that all of these attacks are BLK or PHY, because that makes this highly susceptible to Celeste and XDeath and Knights. Something about me tells me that that's weird. If it is, then absolutely. But, I mean, I'm always going to be suggesting that people go for Celeste and XDeath anyway. Oh, yeah, you're right, AoE. Shit. I don't know why I missed that. Oh, all BLK are AoE except for this one, which doesn't even target the party. So, yeah, you're right. Ooh, we do have black in hand form. His counter fire can be absorbed. That makes sense. But single target physical, single target physical, single target physical, single target physical. While that seems like a lot, I'm fairly confident that you're not even worried about the physical damage that this guy's putting out in this party. It is mostly the counters and Mad Blaze and Mad Faraka. True, yeah. I mean, it's definitely still going to do something. Just not as fight breaking. So, Living Flame is the most complex Magicite bosses, mechanically speaking. He transitions between his forms every third time he takes damage. That's going to be fun. I do actually like mechanics like that. Including from summons and soul breaks. The key to the fight is making sure he doesn't stay in Vortex form for very long to avoid Mad Faraga, and being aware that the most dangerous attack, aside from Mad Faraga, is Blaze Mad Blaze, which can be countered by wearing instant KO resist gear. So, Mad Blaze. Area of effect, 50% maximum HP. That is a powerful attack. So, instant KO resist gear is going to be pretty damn useful here. Oof. And if you wear an instant KO, then that's going to suck. But yeah, you want to make sure he doesn't stay in Vortex too long, because that's the only place that he can use this Mad Faraka. So that seems like the strategy here is wear instant KO resist and keep him out of Vortex, which you can do by making sure that you have 3, or rather 4 successive attacks lined up. Or does he switch at random? Or is it... Shit. If it's random, then that's different. Anyway, just don't let him stay in Vortex, because Mad Faraga sounds like hell. Living Flame is resistant to all elements except for water, which he carries a partial weakness to, taking 150% of base damage from all water element attacks. We know that. And ice, which he is neutral to in humanoid and Vortex forms. As such, the focus of this guide is going to be various sources of water damage and on targeting water damage relics in the current and future banners. Water abilities. We have Chain Waterga. 2 hits of magical water damage, nothing to write home about, but it'll serve its purpose. Leviathan, 2 hits of area of effect, magical water damage, only mentioned because it's the strongest water summon. Avoid this if you can, because it just doesn't have the hones to hold up. Has a higher cast time than normal abilities, and does not have a multiplier as high as the other 2 hit attacks at 5-star. Engulfing Twin Strike, 2 hits of physical water damage, unfortunately lower potency than the other physical options, which is unfortunately true. Water Veil. This is, we sung the praises of Strago and Sephiroth. Now we start singing the praises of ninjas again. And Water Veil is a 3-star ninja ability. 1 hit of magical piercing water damage. A team of ninjas is a viable choice for killing Living Flame, so keep this ability in mind. I know that is a tough pill to swallow, but it is the truth. And it makes sense, because this is supposed to be the evolution of the Nightmare Dungeons, and Nightmare Dungeons were always easily cheesable. Most of them, until they caught on to the cheese and started saying, no, you can't use ninja abilities either. But ninja abilities are actually viable from these bosses, because it pierces resistance. Water Mirage, Ninja 5. This one is not available in Global yet, but it will be. It is not piercing, though. This is more for other sources. 1 hit of physical water damage grants user Physical Blink 1 and enables Blink Stacking mode for 15 seconds. If Blink Stacking mode is active, you can stack physical blinks to a maximum of 2. This is very important for Torrent Seal and for Edge's USB. Yeah, that's a good point. The ninja cast times help force faster form changes, so extra nice, because you definitely want to avoid that vortex form. Yeah, maybe. Ogopogo is going to be a viable summon here, because it's a very powerful 3-hit, so you're probably going to be hitting, in or around cap, as long as you've got the necessary magic. I don't know if it's not that good without a Nether Summoner, though. It's not that good if you don't have it well honed. We do have a source of summon orbs now. So it's not... High honing 5-star summons isn't that far outside the realm of possibility. Yeah, Rydia is actually going to be pretty awesome here. And I do plan on pulling for Rydia, so that will be nice. But next we have Torrent Seal, another Ninja 5-star ability. We get 4 of them, like, all at once. 2 to 4 hits of a physical water damage. Number of hits is based on the number of physical blink stacks on the user. This ability hits very hard with 2 blink stacks. So that 4.0 stretched over 4 attacks is pretty damn good. That is only if you have physical blink. However, remember we made that observation about physical single target, physical single target, physical single target, and physical single target. None of these being nat attacks means these can all be taunted. So you can make sure that someone actually maintains their blink stacks, and you do not have to use Water Mirage as much. You get your stacks up to 2, it never procs again, and then you can just keep on using Torrent Seal for a lot of damage, and that is actually nice, and especially if you're using Edge USB, which we will get to. Sapphire Shot. 2 hits of physical water damage, increasing in power if a ranged weapon is equipped. A better option than Engulfing Twin Strike with a wider distribution. That may seem odd right now, but it's actually the truth. Shooter, which this school this belongs to, is very much expanded and buffed in the future, and becomes more potent than Spellblades at being Spellblades, as crazy as that is. Right now, the list of 5-star Spellblades is actually kind of small. We have that, and we have a couple in here with Lunith, Cloud, Balthier, Lightning. That's our small list of 5-star Sharpshooter, where we have a fair list of Sharpshooter right now. It's kind of small, but in the future, 5-star Sharpshooter gets completely expanded, where a ton of people, just about anyone that has the ability to equip guns, thrown, or bows, gets access to it. You notice all these little hash marks in the corner. They're always going to be saying these people get 5-star, and this is a buff that we will get eventually. Edge gets increased to 5-star, more 5-star. Shadow gets increased to 5-star. 3 more 5-star. 5-star. Yuffie gets increased to 5-star. Renoa, Laguna, Adia. Is that Yuna? Riku gets increased to 5-star. Thank goodness she needs it. Hash for some reason. Vanille, Saz. Mustadio. Anyway, it becomes a larger school than Spellblade does. Spellblade just gets access to 4 Spellblades at 5-star, while Sharpshooter gets access to 3. We get Ice, Fire, and we already have the Water. Yes, I'm on Spellblade. I was trying to put attention on the fact that Spellblade was small. If I arranged by Sharpshooter, that wouldn't do anything because these have no values. Unfortunately. Okay, so moving on. This is actually going to be an important ability. And Shooter in general will be an important ability for 3 different Magicite dungeons, with Ice, Fire, and Water all being important. I agree. I'm glad they... Because, seriously, when Sharpshooter was just limited to Water, it was just pointless. I like Sapphire Shot, but I didn't want to hone it because not enough people could use it, so the situation use of it was so rare that it made for a poor hone. But once it gets the buffs, it actually becomes a high priority for me to hone. So next we move into soul breaks. Most supers will be excluded from this list. You either need more raw power or more staying power in general. It just means the best supers will be included. First, we have Summon Famfrit. Who knows if we'll even have this because it's on the Final Fantasy 1 event that is linked to FF Mobius, and I don't know, everyone should know the reason why this event may get skipped. It's because Mobius Global does not have access to Maya as a character, so it would be kind of weird that the collaboration would allow us to use Maya before the actual Mobius game allowed their players to use her. I hope that's not the case. I hope they just decide to give her to us anyway. It's not like the Mobius players even know this game exists because Final Fantasy Record Keeper is so poorly advertised. So please just give it to us, DNA. Please just do. Anyway, it's a good water mage thing. If you don't recognize its name, it's from FF Mobius. Either way, this is an N-Water Mage Summon Mode Burst Soul Break with a Stitch in Time command. It's a solid magical damage option for the fight. More so because it does good damage, as well as Counter Blaze activates in response to any attack. And Counter Fira activates in response to any attack. That I don't believe applies to summon magic. So it being summon magic is pretty damn beneficial. Next, we have Rydia's OSB. Covers both water and Earth weakness, also holy, which isn't relevant yet. Actually is. That was just accurate at the time this was written, but it loses some potency for that versatility. It's an option if you're desperate, but OSB spam isn't as good for Living Flame because of his form switching mechanic. Pretty much true. I'd value speed here over sheer power. Sieving Waters, Edge's BSB. This is Tidus's BSB with Ninja Cast Speed. A very solid option, but there's a better one coming up right now. I want to ignore this for a second, because not everyone may be able to pull on this, and Edge's BSB has actually shown up in many places, and it's been around for a while, so many people have been allowed to pick it up on like Luckies and stuff. So this is going to be a very relevant burst here, because of that Ninja Cast Speed, which was mentioned earlier. The speed is valued over just sheer power. This is a very good option for this fight. But the best option for this fight does come up next in Edge's USB. This appears on the next Final Fantasy IV event on a very good banner. This is the premier Water Soul Break. It is the most highest damage Water Soul Break in the entire game. This little baby uses a mechanic Global doesn't have access to called Chasing. Basically, a chase is an extra, completely free attack, which triggers whenever a specific condition is met. Edge's Chase, enabled by this USB, is 1 or 2. I use a different syntax here, which would be 2.18 potency, where they use 218. It's just the different ways to say the same thing. But 2.18 is actually quite strong, especially when you're making 2 attacks. And remember what I said about being able to taunt all physical attacks to a knight. Very important here. Because his chase is enabled whenever he uses a ninja skill while under the effect of physical blink. The second hit comes when he has 2 physical blinks active. So if you can prevent him from taking any physical attacks in the entirety of the fight, then he can keep 2 physical blinks active. And that gives him 2 2.18 potency attacks, which is just disgusting, on top of the 4.0 that you're going to be getting from using that 5-star or that 5-star ninja ability. This is just insane amounts of damage, and this is your ticket to easy 30-second clears. Yes, his BSB does show up on the banner with his USB. It's not necessary though, because Edge has trouble generating Soul Break gauge. You could technically use his bursts to give him End Water, which would be nice, but by entrusting some Soul Break gauge to him. But unlike Shadow's bursts, I would actually use Edge's burst to give him the End Water, and then just go back to using the 5-star ability. The chase does not fill gauge. It's similar to counters and double casts in that regard. Right. Rosa and Edge on that banner is makes it very good. And there are some decent stuff other than those as well. So what you're looking to do here is just keep your physical blink active, and then just keep hammering away with that 5-star ability for a ton of damage. And if you're able to throw in a burst as well for the end water to increase your damage output by plus 50%, then please go right ahead. But that does require an Entruster in Edge's case, in just about anyone's case. However, that is an easy ticket to a 30-second clear. Moving on, we have Gogo's BSB. Odd Duck. I'm glad that someone uses that term as well, which makes sense given the character. This is an end water entry and a command 2 for the standard 4-hit water elemental command. But command 1 will copy the last copyable ability, not Soul Break or Burst Soul Break command. Used by the party. If your timing is right, you can get a ton of use out of this. If not, it's a gimped Mage and Water BSB. Not that there are many of those. This is also a rare piece of plus water armor. So it's not bad, but also probably the worst water option. I agree. I like what they did with both Edge and Shadow. I like that Shadow isn't quite as powerful as Edge because Shadow has access to Life Siphon, which means he can be as powerful under the right circumstances. I like how they balance those two characters out. I really like that. Let's see, we have Hand of the Crystals, Bart's OSB. There aren't many water OSBs. In fact, there are 3, and this is the weakest of them. It is, however, also the most versatile. These two facts are linked. While it is not amazing for Living Flame because of the general weakness of OSBs against them, it still offers coverage for 4 out of the 6 Magicite bosses. It's a decent OSB in general because Bart's, like Edge, gets superpowers eventually. And Bart's becomes a very strong character against water damage. And I'm going to have to go into that separately because his USB is not covered here. And his USB is what gives him those powers. So I will go into that right after his highlighting his BSB2. Bart's BSB2. This offers a Mug Power command in addition to the standard Fort command. Nothing truly special, but it'll help. It's fine, and definitely better when combined with his USB, which we're going to go take a look at now since we moved from Final Fantasy IV to Final Fantasy V, and I don't want to go to Strago just yet, so we're going to stay on Bart's. So Bart's gets a really fantastic USB, which makes him completely viable in 4 different Magicite bosses. More 3 than the other one because one of them is Wind, and remember, Wind is the anti-physical boss. But here we go. We got Bart's Chosen Traveler, learned from the Chicken Knife relic. We have physical single target, 7.0 damage, Wind, Water, Fire, Earth. Already, we're fine with this. It's a Super Soul Break entry that we can agree with for Magicite purposes. Now this grants 10 single attacks, grants X Spellblade Flurry to the user for 15 seconds. Very powerful. We're going to go and take a look at that status right now. Flurry. X Mode Spellblade Flurry. Gives him attack 30%, times 2 cast speed, which halves all cast times, and casts Wind, Water, Fire, or Earth Flurry after dealing Wind, Water, Fire, Earth damage with a Spellblade ability. This is a chase mechanic similar to Edge's, just with a different conditional, where all you need to do is use a Spellblade ability. And what's weird, I don't really get it. I'm not sure how it fits with Bart's character, but it's a gambling chase, where it's a 50% chance for a good chase and a 50% chance for a ridiculously good chase. These are the different chase abilities that can go off every time that he uses one of these abilities. So what you would do is probably Life Siphon up to his USB, cast it, and then start using the Water Flurry on this boss. Or Engulfing Twin Strike to trigger these and trigger dual casts and trigger chases. So you randomly deal either 2 or 8 random attacks at 0.4 each. So that 50% is pretty big. Like, you would normally expect this distribution to be heavily weighted towards the 2, but being able to do 8 random attacks is quite awesome. And I actually want to visually show this to people right now. 50% for the 8 hit, right. They actually show it in the water mode too on the Soul Break entry or intro. Where you're at, chicken knife. There's the chicken knife. Oh, I didn't want to click on it. There we go. I agree, it is a very odd distribution. So here is the video of the USB going off. So you get an idea of what this actually does. This is a quad elemental entry with a strong momentum. And now here's him taking advantage of the chase mode. Engulfing Twin Strike, and here's the chase. 2 more water attacks. And now here's the 8 hit. Engulfing Twin Strike. And it's chased by an 8 hit attack. That's how chase modes work. So that makes Bart's, and he could do this with any of these 4 elements. And this is why I plan on pulling the Bart's banner. Because he... Yeah, please don't think that you're going to be hitting for 9s. The additional proc is 100%. It just, the random is either 2 or 8. Like Menisa said, you average those out for an expected outcome. So plan for 5 hits, which equals a 2.0 multiplier. However, remember that Bart's also has access to dual casting. And a lot of dual casting. Right. Just don't think that you're going to get that much damage out of it. However, it is still extremely good. There is not an Earth Spellblade yet, but like Sketch says, it does come with the Bart's event. But it's area of effect, so it's less damage than the Twin Strikes. However, also something that comes on the event, and what I was going to get to next, is his BSB 3 shows up on the same banner, which is an Attach Earth burst mode, which has Earth Spellblade commands. So if you wanted to use these together against the Earth, you could absolutely do that. It is, and they finally get a good burst for Bart. So not only do you have a good burst, but you can dual cast this good burst, or the commands at least, and get a chase on top of it. It is the Earth version of Tornado Strike, exactly. We also get an Ice version of Tornado Strike as well. So Bart's can do these 4 elements with his USB effectively, and he also gets an Earth BSB on the same one, on the same banner. So that those were not mentioned here, but those are 2 very important things. If you have Bart's as BSB 1, that is also relevant. Unlike Squall, who has combat commands, Bart's and his BSB 1, all of his commands are actually Spellblade, and The fact that they're Spellblade School means you can chase with them and you can dual cast with them because he gets a high dual cast potential with his Legend Materia. So his BSB1 actually becomes relevant. It's really weird. Because this was much derided back in the day as just being coverage and low damage. So let's move back to our water because we move next to Strago's BSB, which is actually quite awesome. I totally sing the praises of Strago's BSB. I feel it's unfortunate the banner that it shows up on, but it's not that bad if you're okay with getting Sabin things because it's the banner is very much dominated by Sabin. So we got Strago's BSB. This is a secretly overpowered BSB, and I'd say I'm glad someone agrees, but I think one of the first places that I saw and started to understand how good Strago's BSB was Zarai's guides and this. So it's more like I now agree with him. The entry is fairly standard. Water, wind, earth damage with N water, and the command one is just 4 hits of water earth damage with a random single target magic blink tacked on. But those aren't what makes lore special. Lore's second command is 2 hits of piercing water wind damage, and unlike ninjas, Strago doesn't have a pesky cap on its effective magic stat for this purpose. That is very, very important. What limits the piercing effect of magic or ninja magic is the fact that your ninja magic soft cap is like 390, which is really low. Which means any additional magic you have over that, you're getting less effect from it. And ninja magic still manages to be extremely powerful against high statistic bosses like this. Now take that cap away and move the cap up to the normal magic cap of 1054, and you have a monster on your hands. He does, but it's something like 4,000. Okay, that's pretty damn big. That's bigger than I was expecting. And it's trivial to hit 9,999 times 2 with this against any enemy weak to water or wind. You don't even need the end water status for wind attacks to be able to just easily hit this for 20,000. And with some effort can be made to make this work against any enemy which doesn't null both. Also, rare plus water armor. This is an excellent burst, and it's going to do a ton of damage. It does so much damage that please understand what this says. It means you can probably hit 20k, not against weak water or wind weak or even neutral, but probably against stuff that resists the 2 elements. That's how powerful it is. If it doesn't null it, then you're hitting for a lot. Guardian of Wutai, Yuffie BSB. I have this, and it's probably going to play a very important role in my fight here. This is essentially an end-water version of Riku's Imperil Water BSB. It has a fast-casting 4-hit water command and a 2-hit Mug Morale water command. It won't knock your socks off, but it's an excellent part of a water team. That fast cast is nice, and the fact that the Mug Morale is also water damage, where Riku's is not, and Riku only has a 2-hit available to her, makes this actually quite potent here, because of that fast cast and being able to, attack at the ninja cast speed. Yuffie's USB. This debuts in the Extreme Festival. Does instant cast, super soul break damage, stacking dual break, and party heal. What's not to like? This isn't the best DPS for killing Live and Flame fast, but it's an incredible utility and a pure upgrade over Agent Clear Tranquil. The reason why it's not the best is because while this is actually a quietly really good USB, where it does instant cast water damage, and a stacking dual break, and a 40% party heal. So it's not linked to mind. It's actually a very good USB. It's the problem with the stacking dual break, which is fairly ineffective against this boss. So it really, it loses a lot of its potency. However, outside of Magicite, it's nice. Titus BSB. This is aged. This is the original physical water BSB. Others have superseded it since, which is pretty much a clear upgrade, for example. But this will serve as part of a water party. Truth. Titus is a pretty decent character, and this is going to do damage for you. Let's see, we have Titus OSB. Standard physical water OSB suffers from the same, makes it harder to deal with form transitions, problem that other OSBs have against Living Flame, but good to keep in mind for future Magicite bosses. Truth, I think the best part about this weapon, or this OSB for this boss, is probably the weapon. And the fact that it is, I believe it's the only 6-star native plus water sword. There is a +6 native water fist weapon in Riku's USB, and those are important for these Magicite fights because since we have no realm synergy with any of our weapons, it makes elemental damage weapons that much more powerful. And a fleeting dream, Titus's CSB. This is the water chain. This isn't the easiest chain to exploit, but it's far from the hardest either. Combos exceedingly well with Edge's USB. I mean, think about that for a second. Edge can probably output like double-digit water hits per turn at ninja cast speed. So you can pump this chain up so fast with these two together. The whole chain counts as one attack, yes. For the purpose of form switching. However, for increasing its own chain count, that takes individual attacks into account. So it does like 11 or 12. I forget how many his water chain does exactly. And that's why Edge's USB pumps it up to oblivion, because his USB just does incredible amounts of water attacks every turn. So it's actually a fairly decent chain for the fight if you have the pieces available. My only two water options at the moment are Yuffie's USB and Titus CSB. And the fact that Yuffie's USB has the Ninja Cast command will help me increase the potency of this chain fairly decently. And now we have Waka USB. Waka provides the most unique debuff set in the game, with Hyper Break plus Imperil Water. If you're going to bring Waka for entrust purposes, it'd be worthwhile to have him toss this out before you get too heavily into your SP spamming. It's not bad in the fight because of the Imperil Water, but again, the Hyper Break doesn't do a hell of a lot. But it is water damage plus Imperil Water, so even without the Hyper Break, it's still fairly effective for the fight. No, USB. His BSB is not valuable here. I'm guessing you're probably just joking, and that goes over my head often. Lulu BSB. Everyone knows how I feel about this. Remember, asshole on my elbow. Lulu's aptly named BSB provides 3 elements worth of coverage, but no element for any of them. You can do better, but it is water damage. Yep, it's about how we feel about that. Kimari BSB. Kimari brings an excellent utility BSB here. It's actually a really good burst. In addition to the Imperil Water entry. It has a 25% max HP heal on the 4-hit command 1 and a self-ether on the command 2-hit command 2. You won't use Kimari as your sole damage dealer, but he's excellent to have around. It's true. Imperil Water, 25% max HP heal on a 4-hit command. Pretty good. It is really good. Oh, no. If I did say Yuffie USB, I apologize. I did mean BSB. Pain BSB. Pain's physical version of Lulu's Tri-Element BSB. It is neither in water or in perils, but at least provides water damage on its commands. That is a really kind way of putting Pain's BSB. But at least provides water damage. Riku BSB. Riku provides yet another in the stable of Final Fantasy X Water Soul Breaks. Hers is an Imperil Water entry with a Mug Morale command. Mug Bloodlust command, which is not water element, alas. But she has no 4-hit command. There are better options for Imperil Water, namely Kimari's BSB, but if you've got it, it will serve the purpose, and Riku is an extremely versatile character. Truth. It's okay because it's Imperil Water. However, you really would prefer Kimari's here. Probably Kimari's or Waka's USB, because Waka can throw out his USB for the Imperil and then start entrusting to more potent characters. Riku's USB is fair here, just not your best option. I agree. Pain Slipper Soul Break would probably be better. Because Pain can not only use the 5-star Spellblade, but can also use Sapphire Shot because she gets the 5-star um, shooter upgrade because she can use guns. Uh, so she can use her Super Soul Break and then use either one of those abilities and with the end water and then recast for a lot of damage. You're probably absolutely true. Um, I'm going to take a look at the banners that come out. What is the last banner he has mentioned here? That is the Edge USB banner. I'm going to take a look at the banners that come out after that and see if I can. I have most of the banners committed to memory. We have the Final Fantasy 15 banner, which comes after that. No water options. Final Fantasy 11 banner, no water options. Final Fantasy 5, I did go into the Final Fantasy 5 banner with Bartz's excellent options on that banner. Final Fantasy 6 is not really water, it's more Shadow and Setzer. Final Fantasy 2 I don't know, I just don't care. I don't know that banner very well. Final Fantasy Tactics, no. Not even Delita's excellent coverage on the second banner has water as a part of it. Final Fantasy 3 does have Arc and his second burst soul break, which is Holy Water. But it's End Holy. Probably not your best source of water damage there. Another 15 event, which is Lightning and Lightning. Final Fantasy 8, no water there. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 4. So we don't really get another source of strong water after the Bart's banner until the Final Fantasy 4 banner with Rydia's USB and Burst Soul Break. So that just I wanted to make sure that I had that covered before we go into the list of banners that he goes over banners that are generally strong when it comes to either water or all around elemental. And this was written 3 months ago, so you're going to see some banners that have already passed on here. We have second anniversary. The second banner had Titus's OSB on it. Titus OSB is a prize here for Living Flameslayers, but there are a few other relics to note. Shantoto has a high DPS and Thunder Mage BSB. Krill has an and Fire BSB, and Yuna has a combined heal plus buff BSB. Yeah, probably not the best banner we're looking at for this fight. Second Anniversary 3. Bartz's coverage OSB is here, along with a couple of BSBs for future Holy Dark Week Magicites. We've hinted at them, but there are none in game yet. There are now. And Realm's Amazing Healing BSB. Let's be honest, the reason to pull here is Rain's BSB, not Bart's OSB, but at least you'll get some use out of it if you do pull it. Agreed, I would have liked Bart's OSB here, but it wasn't in the cards. A Fleeting Dream. This was the Water Chain banner, which actually has some real advantages due to the ability to get massive numbers of hits out of Edge's USB and the Torrent Seal ability, correct. Still, probably not worth a pull by itself, even with Lulu's robe also present on the banner. Yuna's USB was one of the best for general purposes, but I'm not sure how good it is for Magicite bosses. And Oron has an Endfire BSB here as well. So, not a ringing endorsement on this banner. A Fleeting Dream. This is actually a premier banner for water elemental breaks, giving 3 different water BSBs. Pain's is kind of lackluster, although it offers great coverage. But both Kamari and Titus's are good. Jack's OSB is Dark Fire, allowing it to be used for Sea Lion now and whatever Dark Week Magicite bosses may appear in the future. Sea Lion is the one that's vulnerable to fire. Explorers of the Abyss. This event is still active at the moment. Here premieres 2 different M-Water BSBs. Unfortunately, neither really stands out all that much among the field. Gogo's Mimic Command has yet to really find a home, and Bart's Mug Power Command is great for self-buffing, but otherwise unexciting here. Consolation prizes are a pair of Fire Relics for Krill. So another lackluster banner. Extreme Fest 2. Now we're getting into future planning. This is the reason why this is question marks is because the only thing that we know that's going to appear on this festival and probably on Banner 2 is Yuffie's USB. The only relic guaranteed to be here is Yuffie's new and improved Clear Tranquil, which is more of a utility than a boss killer in its own right. Also on this banner in Japan were Edge's and Water BSB, good. Edge's Powerful Dark OSB and Imperiled Dark BSB, good. Rain's BSB, good. Raijin's and Thunder BSB, good. And Ayame's excellent. And Ice BSB, also good. This banner for Japan was disgusting and awesome, and one of the two best in the festival. I think most people leaned towards 2 or 4, depending on where they were coming from. Mist Dragon is the Dark Week, okay. Heretic Witch. This is something that was shuffled recently for good reason. We have Meyaz, introduces a character here with a nice and water summon mode BSB. Backing her up is Sarah's Magic Blink Healer BSB. Not a great banner for Magicite by any means, but it's there if Mobius is your favorite game or something. I guess, I feel exactly the same about it. It's not really that great of a banner, but if you like Mobius, I don't know, go for it. Ayame Bursts. I hope that stays in the Extreme Festival, and they don't wait to debut it on the Final Fantasy XI event, that's for sure. Ayame's Burst is nice. Iron-Willed Fist. Banner 2 for the Strago BSB. Strago's cheating BSB headlines this banner, and IMO is strong enough in its own to deserve consideration. Only 2 hits on the piercing command is a little disappointing, but the ability to completely ignore that bosses have, for example, 22k resistance, is just huge. Sabin also has a couple strong fire element options on this banner, and Leo's BSB is the rare earth element, as well as the more readily available holy. Earth element becomes less rare after this was written, so I wouldn't even consider Leo's much of a win, but it is a strong fire banner because of the feature of Sabin in so many different ways. If you wanted to turn him into your fire monk, you could be forgiven for doing so if you wanted to go after Strago's BSB. It is not a bad banner, and I don't blame people for making polls on it, because Strago's BSB does cheat the game in its own right, and it's one of those kind of relics. George has a request. I'm sure you're sick of looking at them, but can you pull up phase 2 to 4 of Extreme Fest when you're done? I'm on mobile at the moment. Do you want me to... I can post the links if that would be, valuable to you. Yeah. When I'm done. That's fine. I'll pull it up when I'm done if you could remind me, because I don't mind. They are subject to change, but is it important to take a look at the USBs on them? Or the stuff that's on them by default. Alright, Ruffia is the numero uno fire monk, so it makes sense that you would stay away from Sabin at that point. We are Albed. This is a next Final Fantasy X event, and it has some good coverage for this fight. However, 3 Water Soul Breaks headline this banner for those targeting Living Flame. Unfortunately, 2 of those are Lulu's and Pain's Tri-Element offerings, which aren't spectacular by themselves, which is putting it kindly. Riku's BSB offers Imperil Water and a Mud command, which is useful, and her USB is one of the best in the game, even if it deals no damage. Worth some thought, but not where I'd pull. I agree. The banner is a lottery banner where there isn't a whole lot good going for it, except for it's a very powerful top end. Riku's BSB has fallen off in my eyes, but Riku's USB is really good. Not only is Riku's USB extremely good, but it also is a plus water fist weapon, which is really excellent. Especially because that is, as far as I know, I'm going to check it just in case, because I don't want to give shitty banner information, because I've been known to do that. It's kind of my trade now. We're going to go take a look at Edge and confirm that he can use fist weapons. He can. Edge can use fist weapons, which means this is the only plus water damage weapon that Edge can use other than his very, very old katana from his basic Soul Break. Emblem Water Veil, I believe it's called. So this is a pretty important relic for him. However, I still think the banner is bad enough to make it pretty skip worthy, and I'd really look to add Riku's USB to my roster elsewhere. Hopefully, it shows up on a good festival banner. At least that's how I'm going to be treating it. I know a lot of people want to go after it regardless, and it is that good, so I don't blame people for wanting to roll the dice. We Are All Bed 2 has Taika's Aging Razzmatazz, that's his BSB, makes another appearance here alongside Waka's brand spanking new Hyper Break and Peril Tech, which is a very good USB. It just loses the Hyper Break effectiveness in Magicite dungeons. Oron's Fire Utility USB, which is an extremely good USB, but again, very similar to Waka's USB, is a break USB and loses some effectiveness here. Nebraska's Endfire Summon Mode BSB to round out the banner. Again, not ideal, but if you're light on both fire and water, this is worth a thought. I agree. It's a good fire and water banner. But not for Magicite purposes, really, because it's basically headlined by Waka and Oron's USBs, and they're not really Magicite focused. Though Waka's is still good because Imperil, and you'll take Imperil where you can get it. But Braska's Endfire BSB is actually quite competent, so that helps out your fire team if you're able to get that. There will be poison. I wonder if that means they're going to add more poison to the game. I don't think we're expecting a Final Fantasy VI event, because that's where I would expect them to give us the poison chain. Estimated date on 15 for global is August 31st. Destined Confrontation Awakening Power. This is the premier water banner. Here is the God Relic of Water Damage, Edge's USB, which I carried on about above, and could keep on going because it's that good. Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought that Edgar would be the poison chain, and that's why I was thinking, well, when's the next Final Fantasy VI event? Because that could be an Edgar event where they give him the poison chain. Quistis is really just good by herself with her OSB and BSB, so I don't think it makes sense to improve her. Well, Edgar's pretty poop, so Edgar needs the help. Layla's actually excellent, even with just her BSB. Those super fast commands is awesome. So I'm going to continue on the banner. Here's the banner also contains Edge's improvement to Tidus's BSB, although his lack of life siphon access makes it a little awkward to use both in conjunction. Agreed. The only time you're going to use it is if you're getting trusted to use it, so you can pump it out and water your ninja abilities. Kefka's shit too, and he needs help, so I can see that happening too. If you want to give Edgar a poison USB and Kefka the CSB, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't understand Thancred. That one confuses me. Rose's top-of-the-line healer USB. I pray to Rose's healer USB. And remember, I don't know why it wasn't mentioned here, but Extreme Fest 2 also had Rose's USB, and it debuted here, so like Yuffie's USB, it will also likely be together with it on Banner 2. So that's another thing to take in consideration. Rose's USB is a chase relic. It is extremely powerful. Probably the best healer soul break in the game. Just remember that. And I will just don't ever get sick of me telling you that, because I'm going to keep telling you that. Kefka did a pretty good job with poison after all. I haven't played the game, but I have heard. Cecil's new and improved but Holy Burst Soul Break 2. I'm okay with it. I prefer his USB, but his BSB 2 isn't bad. And Rubicante's Endfire BSB round out the banner. Not that thrilled with Rubicante's Endfire BSB, but it's at least something if you need help on your fire team. This one deserves serious consideration just for how ungodly strong Edge's USB is. The only real problem is how far into the future it is, making it a little more difficult to budget accurately. Well, that's not as true anymore because it's not that far in the future because it's 3 months after this was written. A 6th event to milk Terra fans would be nice. That's good and not a ploy for draws. Well, I'd be fine with that because, I mean, Terra could be a good character. So it wouldn't be just to milk the waifu reserves of people. If you give Terra a good relic, I mean, you could have a moneymaker on your hands. I'm actually going to go and take a look at this banner because comments and conclusions. Water has the perception of being a neglected element. And until the rush of mage BSBs, starting with the Go-Go event, that's sort of true. But it will really come into its own in a few months. You have plenty of options for 4-hit BSBs of various flavors, and a couple powerful oddball relics and Strago BSB and Edge USB. Those are the 2 I plan to invest in, but let your situation dictate your future polls. The other best water SBs are probably Maya's BSB and Yuffie's BSB, aka Ms. No Guaranteed Recurrence. I know the cam is not on, but I am fist pumping right now because I was able to pick that up on a lucky for the 2nd anniversary, and I love Yuffie, so that was a very happy draw for me. Edge is the only one of these characters with a legend dive at the time of this writing, unfortunately, so though Titus also has one. At the time of this writing is important because stuff has opened up a little since then. The best banner IMO is the one with the Edge USB on it. It's really just that good. Strago's BSB banner is also worth consideration, though with just 1 water relic on it, I hesitate to recommend it strongly unless you're also worried about your fire team. If you don't want to put all your eggs into the Edge USB Strago BSB baskets, a Fleeting Dream 2 is probably the best bet to pull on. Water plus gear can be hard to find, especially physical weapons, so keep an eye out for those on banners you're tempted to pull on anyway. One of Edge's failings is that the only plus water weapon he can equip essentially is not pullable anymore. This, I don't believe, is true. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has the WeRL bed banner listed there. And that does have... We have our stuff. So you can't use Apocalypse. His Murasame is the one he's talking about. This is the old Soul Break that gives a really weak attack, but that's okay when you're in a non-synergy situation and you're able to get water damage plus 20% out of it. But Tidal Knuckles is Riku's USB, and I'm pretty sure that this is accurate and that it is plus water damage, and Edge has access to it. So this would be his premier weapon. 172 attack is awesome. Also remember that it is a fist weapon, which have an added bonus to them, a secret bonus, that I believe all fist weapons have an increased chance to critically strike. Very, very relevant for chase situations because you're distributing your damage output over multiple attacks, so you have more headspace to critical and get extra damage out of. So, with that said, these are 2 Blitz Balls, and they do not apply, obviously, to Edge. I would love to see Edge using a Blitz Ball, but... Edge USB banner, which has Rubicante. Rubicante is probably the best way to search for it. Doom of the Living does sound nice. I'll actually go take a look at that, since that isn't mentioned here. So this is the Edge USB banner. And I'm only going to highlight this one because it is probably the best banner / water banner that you can pull on for the purposes of increasing the damage output of your water team. We have Edge's Wild Mood. We went into why that is so good. His chase is really good. Actually, I'm going to go and do the same thing I did for Bart's and show you his USB visually. We got Rubicante. Just look for the katanas, and that should be Edge. Edgy. The katana's on the right. I think this says edgy. Yeah, it does. That's the ninja ability. And here's the chase. 2 extra strikes. That gets pretty absurd. And then he does have a 35% chance to double cast as well. So, yeah, it can get pretty crazy. Rose's excellent USB. The reason why this is so good and why she was instantly catapulted to S tier on my list. 0 cast time, Curatica Medica. That's H85. Party HP Stock 2000 and Magic Blink. So you have not only a heal here, 0 cast time heal at that, but a 0 cast time Magic Blink. And these two allow you to survive for another, hopefully survive for another 2 turns, where Rosa with a Striker equipped can Wrath and just cast it again at instant cast speed. It just allows her to Wrath, USB, Wrath, USB, Wrath, USB, Wrath, USB, and you're practically indestructible at that point. It's just that powerful. It is Rosa's Wrath that really brings out the potential of this, but even without that, it's still a damn good USB. Next we have Cecil's BSB2, which is more of a tank BSB instead of his damaging first one, because it gives him Sentinel on cast. Number of hits increases with based on attacks received. Don't really like that conditional, but it does help that he's able to cover, and I believe he can start the fight with Sentinel, so that helps. And he can buff his resistance by 100%, which is always valuable. So I like the BSB. I'm not like huge on it. I think I prefer his USB to this, but it's pretty good. So I'm not going to go too deep into the banner. I'll just highlight the really big stuff. Edge's BSB is nice to have, but again, because Edge doesn't have any way to increase his Soul Break generation, the only way you're using this is with an Entrust battery. Otherwise, you're sticking strictly to this and the 5-star ninja abilities. Rose's Legend Materia is not good. Edge's, however, is good. Low chance of self-blink when using ninja abilities. As long as you have the stacking buff from the 5-star ninja ability available, this will allow this to proc when you use ninja abilities and give you extra physical blinks, which obviously helps out with the other 5-star ninja command, or ninja ability, and his chasing ability. Rubicante, Super, blah, 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 no good. This is a good complementary thing for Edge. Golbez's Cloak doesn't really belong here, and Edward's Soul Harp also doesn't belong here. So we have some junk at the bottom of the banner, and that's it prevents it from catapulting it from into the highest of banners, in my opinion. However, it's a strong lottery banner because it has not 1, but 2 of the highest tier relics in the game. So, good banner. Golbez is not junk. However, the Super Soul Break doesn't belong here. And the Super Soul Break is junk. I guess at least it's a plus dark light armor for physical. The harp isn't bad. But again, it just doesn't make sense on the banner that it's on. It's like, is Golbez and Edward just wondering what the hell we're doing here? They get their time. The next Final Fantasy IV event after this, Edward gets his spot on one banner, and Golbez gets his very prominent spot on another banner. With a USB that completely blows this out of the water. I love Golbez's USB. What else did I want to look at for water? I think that's it. Anyone have any questions about water? People may think that took a while, and they would be right. However, remember, I will be This is a 12-hour stream. I am going to be streaming until we get the information from the maintenance about our event schedule. So we're going to be here for a while. I know a lot of people won't be able to stay that long, but I will be uploading these to YouTube, and you can always look at the past broadcasts if you would like to. I better get some stuff for water since I only have Sapphire Shot. Yeah. Sapphire Shot and the 5-star Spellblade is... I don't know. That's your thing. Did Mate start already? No, it will start in 4 hours. 4 hours and 9 minutes. Coming back for pulls. I don't believe there will be any pulls until late tomorrow for the Final Fantasy 13 banner. Nice. I mean, anyone that can stick around and provide some feedback. Like, I understand that for the most part that this is going to be a VOD thing because I'm going to be doing this all night. But anyone that can stick around, I definitely appreciate it. Oh, yeah, then, yeah, I'll be coming back for that. But that's like... It's like 12 hours after we should get the information from the maintenance. Hey, Shadow. I think I just have to rely on water abilities for the Fire Magicite. I got no water soul breaks either. Yeah, I got lucky. I think I got both of my... Yeah, I did. Yuffie's Burst Soul Break and Titus's CSB. Those are my 2 water soul breaks. I got them both in luckies. But you don't have to completely rely on water. Remember, or rely on water abilities. Because one of the highest recommended banners I recommend to pull on is the Bart's USB banner, which is going to be a very powerful water tool for a lot of people. So I will be budgeting pulls for that, and that comes with my editor's choice, star of approval, what have you. Yes, I can bless you with decent RNG tonight. You will get Lightning's USB. Congratulations. What elements am I strong, weak in? Oh, that's a good question. Water, not really. I don't consider that to be enough. Fire, also not really. I pretty much just have Refia going for me. Hopefully I end up with a Vincent USB and I end up strong there. Oh, you didn't want that blessing? Shit. Well, I'm an ass, and RNG likes to fuck me sometimes, so maybe I just blessed you with a reverse curse that will help you. If you're looking for Reigns or Nabat things. Ice, I have a Diaz BSB, so I guess you could consider me powerful there. But again, I don't think that's enough, because I'm looking to at least soon after the release of Magicite to look towards to 30-second clears, and I don't think Adi alone is enough to get there. She's just powerful enough to clear it on her own. Wind. Okay, there we go. I'm very strong in wind. I have a totally decked Fusion and Alphino for the Wind Blasting Golem Magicite, which is definitely geared towards Magical Wind. I think that is my most powerful element. Because boy, do I love my Alphino and my Fusion. Earth, absolutely not. I don't think I have anything for Earth. However, I will be pulling on a lot of Earth banners with Final Fantasy V Bart's and Final Fantasy 15 Gladiolus. I'm actually going to be going heavy on some Earth banners. So I look that's why I've weighted those banners a little more highly for me, because that helps me cover Earth. Thunder I'm fairly powerful in too, but it's also distributed. I have Kane and Raijin for physical, and I have Ash and Desh for magical. I would probably consider my magical more powerful. So Ash and Desh are going to be my biggins there, but that's not as powerful as my Wind. Dark, I have Rains. I don't know if that's enough. I haven't seen Miss Dragon or don't know anything about Miss Dragon. Um, Holy, I have Agrius. I don't know if that's enough by itself. Definitely very helpful, but I guess Vanille would probably be a strong player in the Shadow Dragon team. Yeah, so I'm actually not very strong in a lot of these elements. Sid Reigns does do Holy, but I think one of the observations I have about Holy is there isn't many Holy magical things. So you're probably going to be assembling your Holy team out of physicals. Though I'm sure you could try to make it work with Haynes or Haynes. Oh God, Reigns. But I'm probably going to be doing full physical for Holy.